Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Homage to our most venerable teacher Bhante, our Kalyana Mitta Gurudevottama Pinotloku Swamin Wahanse. Sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya. Everybody, today is the special day in the monastery. You know why? Today, the people have come to the monastery to invite Bhantes for the rainy retreats. Do you know about that? What is rains retreat? Rains retreat is a period of 3 months back actually in India. So the Bhantes do not travel a lot. If they go out of the monastery, they would come before 7 sunrises. So that's how they practice that rains retreat. They mostly stay in the monastery, preaching, practicing, and chanting. Of course, when the Bhantes observe rains retreat, people also practice a kind of deep Dhamma. In India, actually, in the Buddha's time also, they observe higher precepts, like 8 precepts. Like they practice the Brahmachari lifestyle, you know, the in celibacy. Celibate life, yeah. They abstain from in celibacy and they practice celibacy. Mostly the Bhantes became arahants, fully enlightened, during this rains retreat. I selected 2 main discourses to talk about kind of a deep Dhamma today with you, because this Sutta is the first sermon of the Buddha. You know what? Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, setting in motion the wheel of Dharma. In that Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the first sermon, Buddha explains about the noble truths to Panchavagya bhikkhus. Panchavagya is the 5 Bhantes. Who are the 5 Bhantes? Kondanya, Vappa, Badya, Mahanama, Ataji. Those are the names of the Bhantes, the first 5 group. So when the Buddha preached the first sermon, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the setting in motion the wheel of Dhamma, the first Bhante, Kondanya, became stream entrant. What is stream entrant? The first stage of the enlightenment. He understood the noble truth as the noble truth. That is what he understood. Stream entrant, like he came to the first level of the enlightenment. He needs to go for more 3 stages, right? To become fully enlightened, to become arahant. This happened on the full moon day of Asala. Asala is the 7th July, right? July, the full moon day, the lunar day in the year. So the Buddha was staying in Benares, in the deer park, Isipatana, Migadaya, and he preached this Dharma about noble truths, and then he needed more to preach. For the second sermon for the Panchavagya bhikkhus, the 5 groups of Bhantes, he preached Anatma Lakkana Sutta. Anatma Lakkana Sutta. So today, I will talk about these 2 suttas actually. Anatma Lakkana, the characteristic of non-self, Anatma Lakkana Sutta. What is it? Oh, yeah, sharing. Yes. Because you know that the Buddha observed the first rains retreat. When he preached this Anatma Lakkana Sutta, he stayed in the deer park in Benares for the 3 months in the rains retreat. He observed that. So this is a special thing actually for us too, you, me, and everybody. So In the Anatma Lakkana Sutta, we have a very deep Dhamma about this life. So the Buddha explained Anatma, the word Anatma or Anatta as non-self. What is non-self? Non-self is not under our control. Buddha explained this life in 5 ways. What are the 5 ways he explained? So we basically know this life as 2 ways, body and mind. This is just, we explain about this life, right? This is my body, this is my mind, and that's it. This is not the only thing Buddha explained. He explained in 5 ways. What is it? Rupa, it is the physical body actually, right? What is physical body? Rupa. Hair, eyes, nose, and everything we have as the physical body. This is the first thing. What is it in Pali? Rupa, physical body. What is the second one? Vedana is the feeling. Feeling is also a part of life. Feeling arises due to contact, right? He explained that in a very clear way. Feelings, what are the feelings we experience? Pleasant feeling, painful feeling, neutral feeling, in any ways. With the eye, we see things and we experience feelings. Maybe good, maybe bad, maybe neutral. Sounds, smells, tastes, tangibles, and also in the mind too. We experience kind of a feeling. This is a huge part of our life. And then the third way is the perception. In Pali we say sanya, perception. We perceive things. If I explain it a little bit. So with the things we see, we perceive, maybe with the colors and shapes. With the colors we perceive as something, right? And what about the sounds? We hear things, very little things, and we hear something, maybe a music, a piece of music, or maybe a song, or whatever. Some maybe words, maybe an instrument or something. We perceive things out of contact with things too. And the smells, tastes, and everything we perceive. It is also a huge part of our life. What is the first one? Rupa, the physical body. The second, Vedana, the feelings. The third, Sanya, the perception. And then the fourth, Sankhara, is the mental formation. We say that as the karma, the arranging of karma, the processing of karma happens according to the thoughts. It's a huge process. Because of this thought, the intentions, we create karma. Good karma, bad karma, whatever karmas we make. Thinking about something is the way that we create karma. When we have something good, it's a way of creating a good karma. When we have a bad thought, we create bad karma. When we have that thought, we act with the body, we act with the speech, and we act with the mind. And that's just we create karma. It's a huge part of this life that creates again and again the rebirth. This is not just the body and mind. And then the fifth one is called Vijnana. In English we say consciousness. It is maybe the main thing that brings us in the samsaric journey from life after life after life. So we need these 5 things actually to have a life here. Maybe we are humans, we are born with these 5 things. As animals also, they have been born with these 5 things. As ghosts, hell beings, heavenly beings, Brahma beings, whatever beings, they have been born with these 5 things. What are they? What are they? Rupa, the physical body. You might be wondering that how a ghost has a physical body. They do. They do have. Even though we do not see, that is created with the four great elements. Okay? And Vedana, they experience feelings. Sanya, they perceive, we perceive. And Sankara, they think. And Vijnana, they have that consciousness too. But the thing is, when the Buddha explained these five things, there is something more to explain, that we have clung. We have a huge clinging to these five things. That's the main problem that we experience. We consider this as me, as mine, and as myself. That's why we are not released from birth, from aging, from sickness, from death, from separation from loved ones. We experience tremendous suffering here, hereafter, wherever we go. Clear? This is the basic explanation about this life from the Buddha. Remember the first five things? Rupa, physical body. Vedana, feelings. Sanya, perception. Sankhara, thoughts, mental formations or thoughts, in simple. Vijnana, consciousness. With these five things, we have this life. And we have clung, we have a huge attachment to these five things, that we are not released, that we experience again and again the suffering. That's why the Buddha explained, when he explains about four noble truths, in the first discourse, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the setting in motion the wheel of Dharma, he explained like this. Now, bhikkhus, is it shared? Ben, to read? Yes.
Now, this is a noble truth of suffering. Birth is suffering, aging is suffering, illness is suffering, death is suffering. Unit with God is displeasing is suffering. Separation from God is pleasing is suffering. Not to get what one wants is suffering. In brief, the five aggregates subject to clinging are suffering.
Thank you. So this is what I wanted to share. In brief, the five aggregates subject to clinging are suffering. In brief, if the Buddha explains the suffering in brief, he explains the suffering is just these five aggregates of clinging. And that's it. In detail, he explained birth is suffering, aging is suffering, sickness is suffering, separation from loved ones, everything. But in brief, he said, dear monks, the five aggregates of clinging are suffering. These five things are the just way that we experience suffering. That's clear, right? Then what is the main problem of our life we experience? Five aggregates of clinging. Clinging is the suffering. The desire, the attachment is the suffering. So how can we get rid of this? How can we understand this as the noble truth? This is how the Buddha explains. This is Anatma Lakkana Sutta. Ekam samayang bhagava Varanasiyang viharati isipatani migadaye.
At one time, the Buddha was staying near Varanasi in the deer park at Isipatana.
All right, enjoy the scenario, okay? Enjoy the story. The Buddha explains it. This is how the Buddha was sitting in the evening. Actually, he was sitting underneath a tree, and then these five group of Bhantes. If you go downstairs, maybe we have a beautiful picture. The five groups of Bhantes were listening to Dhamma. They were a little confused like this in the picture. You might have seen that, right? So the sun was setting down, and then the moon was coming up. That's the time he explained this Dhamma, right? But the Dhammacakkappavattana. But after the Dhammacakkappavattana, he explained this sutta, okay? Okay. Tatrako Bhagava Panchavagye Bhikkhu Amantesi.
There the Buddha addressed a group of 500.
Bhikkhavoti, dear monks. Badante te bhikkhave bhagavato pachasasam. Venerable sir, they replied. So this is a beautiful conversation, huh? Bhagavai Tadavaja, the Buddha said this. Rupang bhikkhave anatta. That's just the Buddha's explanation. Rupang bhikkhave anatta. And that is, in brief, he said, dear monks, the form is non-self. What is non-self? It is not under your control. The human body, maybe the animal or whatever, it is not self. It is not under your control. You cannot say that this is mine, this is me, this is myself. It is not your control, not under your control. You cannot control. Why not? This body arises due to reasons and vanishes due to reasons. When the reasons destroy, the body destroys, they go. Right? And Rupam, so see this, actually this sutta is very, very scientific and logical. You might enjoy the way the Buddha explained this very deep Dhamma to understand. Right? So, Rupancha hedam bhikkhave atta abhavissa naidam rupang abhadaya samvatteya labbeta cha rupe evam me rupang hotu evam me rupang ma ahoseti.
It wouldn't be fiction, and you could compel form. May my form be like this, maybe not be like that.
Right. If form were self, if we can say that yes, this body is me or myself, it wouldn't lead to affliction. You can control it. You can control it when it gets old. No, you can stop it. When it gets sick, no, you can prevent it. No, this is my body. This is me. I have my control. And you could compel from, may my form be like this. May it not be like that. Also, as you wish, you can have your body like this is my body. I like to have this like that. Right? When it's like gets less and less attractive, you can stop it. No, I have my control of it. But Buddha said, Yasmachako bhikkhave rupang anatta tasma rupang abhadaya samvattati nacha labbati rupe evam me rupang hotu evam me rupang mahoseti. But because
Can come out.
again,
Then if my form is like this.
right. So because form is not self, it leads to affliction. That's how we experience what? Suffering. That's how we experience suffering. So we suffer a tremendous suffering. We experience tremendous suffering. Why? Because this is not under our control. Right? It leads to affliction. It leads to destruction. It leads to change and to become otherwise. Okay? And that is it. That is it all about the form. What is it? Form is non-self. And this is the perfect explanation about the form. It's not under your control. If it is under your control, you can control it and you can stop suffering. But you cannot do that because why? Form is not self. Form is non-self. The feeling is the same. Perception is the same. Sankhara, volitional formations, this is choices, the word. And consciousness is non-self. Did you understand about the form? In the same way, feeling is non-self. If the feeling is self, you can control it. experiences there may be painful feeling. You can stop it. But Buddha said, no, for feeling is non-self. You cannot control it. Why not? When the contact happens, you have that feeling. When we understand Dhamma fully, we can control it. Okay? That's why you experience so much of pain, suffering, and sorrow. All right, consciousness is the same thing. May my consciousness be like this and so. All right, we come again to this point, okay? Tanking manyata bhikkhave rupang niccang va aniccang vati. This is very scientific. You might see the beautiful conversation between the Buddha and the Panchavagya bhikkhu. So the Buddha wanted them to understand about this form, and he questioned. He wanted them to be detached from the form with the desire, with the attachment, with the greed, with tanha or craving. Then that's how he questioned. That's how he questioned the Bhantes, okay? How did he question?
What do you feel conditions form permanent or impermanent?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. It's a simple question, huh? It's a very simple question. With that very simple question, he opens the eyes of these 5 Bhantes. What do you think, monks? Is form permanent or impermanent? It's a simple question that anybody can understand and answer. And they answered, Aniccang Bhante. How did they understand? Impermanent, sir. Impermanent Bhante. All right. The next question from the Buddha.
Is it suffering or
Is that a simple question too? Of course, yes. If that is impermanent, suffering or happiness? If something is impermanent, is it a happy thing? Happy or you like it? No, no one likes it. Why not? It is very fragile, destructive, and then subject to change. And it is absolutely not permanent, not happy. It is suffering, right? Suffering, sir, dukkhaṃ bhante. Answer is clear. Next question from the Buddha.
but if it's impermanent, suffering and perishable, is it fit to be regarded as this is mine, am I this is myself?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. This is how he opened the eyes of these 5 Bhantes. I want you to understand. If it is impermanent, suffering and perishable, is it fit to be regarded as this is mine? I am this is myself. Me, mine, no, myself. Good to think about it as me, my, no, myself. This is very scientific. The conversation is very clear, but this is the deepest Dharma. He explained in a simple way, very, very simple way. What is it? Form is permanent or impermanent? It's a simple question. Impermanent, sir. If it is impermanent, is happy or suffering? Suffering. If it is something suffering and impermanent and perishable, is it good to say that this is me, mine or myself? No hetang bhante. No, sir. This is the first question, first session of the question. So when we understand this part of this sutta, we understand fully everything. We understand everything fully. As long as we do not understand this question, these three, 4 questions, we do not understand anything. We understand nothing. We are still attached to things, and we still have the journey of samsara. We experience birth, aging, sickness, death, separation from loved ones, grief, lamentation, despair, crying, in everything we experience, as long as we do not understand these simple questions. Is it fit to say this is me, mine, or myself? No, hetang bante, no say. Whenever maybe any issue in our life, if we put this issue into this sutra, to this frame, maybe it would be really easy to understand. Okay, maybe like I have lots of pain or whatever, maybe regrets or something. Just put this, if it is permanent or impermanent. Regret is permanent or impermanent? Permanent? Impermanent. It's impermanent. If it is impermanent, it is a happy thing of suffering. It is absolutely suffering. If it is suffering, is it fit to say this is me, mine, or myself? Just let that go. That's the meaning. Just let go of the desire for that. Just letting go, right? It's a simple thing. So, is that clear? This is all about this human body, maybe the body, and then the feelings too. What are the feelings? Maybe pleasant feeling, maybe painful feeling, maybe neutral feeling, all the feelings. Put the same frame, same structure, and understand as it really is. Even the happy feeling. What do you think about the happiest feeling ever in your life? Oh, this is me, mine, or myself, right? You see the pictures in our life, maybe the universities back in our countries, Linda. With the people, the friends, huh? We enjoy the time we together, huh? The songs we sang, the food we ate together, like, right? Sitting on the grass, underneath the trees, right? Remember? The feelings, happy feelings, right? This is something that we are attached. But we do not know that this causes suffering. What is the suffering behind about this happy feeling? Subject to impermanence. How do we say goodbye to these happy things? Is it not something simple? It's not something happy. Every happy thing causes suffering. Why? There is something behind. What is that? Impermanence. Subject to change. Subject to separation. It's not that easy to say goodbye. That causes suffering. So when you understand that happy feeling, maybe painful feeling, maybe neutral feeling, everything subject to change, impermanent, causes suffering. This is not me, not mine, not myself. You are happy with the wisdom. Enjoying that spiritual wisdom, you're happy and you're relaxed and you're peaceful. Why? You're not attached to that. Right? The feelings are the same, perception are the same, volitional formations are the same, the consciousness are the same. Is that clear? Right. The life is described really clearly, and to open our eyes, to let go of the desire to this. This is the purpose of this discourse. Yes, please.
So, it's a happy moment, let's say, married, you're enjoying that time. Is it just being present and just enjoy that moment and not, I just leave it as that, and being mindful, being present. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I understand what you say.
I don't think very pleasant thought, but something that happened, it's not religious, it's not my business, it's not myself, it's impermanent.
Yeah, that's a very important, beautiful question. How do you answer? Actually, we should get this as a whole thing, right? This life is as a whole thing, not like so this causes suffering. If I go to the party, that causes lots of suffering or something. No, it's not the way that we should think about. Okay, get the whole thing together. This life, what I have experienced is subject to change. right? No, I'm not here to cling to my experience or something. Just letting go and understanding the nature of everything is just the way that you develop your wisdom. For example, about the life you have lived today, maybe in the past, right? So everything, like think about everything you have experienced. Everything is in the past now, changed, right? Understanding, developing this Dharma a little bit. But we should work, we should go to work, we should have a good car, we should buy a new house, right? We should have families, and we should have a good clothing, good food and everything. But inside, you develop a kind of wisdom. What is it? Or even though I experience this beautiful thing, this is subject to change, impermanent, causes suffering, and I develop my wisdom. I have family, I have job, I have everything to deal with, right? But I am here to understand as they really are. Does that make sense? It's not the way that you skip your meal or something. Huh? So that's how you practice when you come to the monastery, observing precepts. You skip that meal. It's just the way you start. When you practice this spirituality, you practice the generosity to give. What is it? Just the practice of letting go of desire. This is the good to start, okay? Okay? Letting go is not that hard, or maybe not that simple too. All right. Any questions? Tasmatiha bhikkave yang kinci rupang atitānāgata paccuppannaṃ ajjattaṃ vā bahiddhā vā olārikaṃ vā sukumaṃ vā hīraṃ vā panītaṃ vā yandure santikē vā sabbaṃ rūpaṃ netaṃ vā manesu hamasmina mesu attāti eva meta yatā bhutaṃ sammapaññāya. So when you understood that the rupa, the form is non-self and subject to change, and you consider this is not me, not myself, right? This is not about this present form. This is not only for the present form, and we have more. How do you read this?
So you should truly see any kind of form at all, past, future, or present, internal or external, coarse or fine, inferior or superior, far or near, all form with right understanding. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not myself.
Not only the present thing, right? He explained about this rupa in 11 ways. 11 ways. What are the 11 ways? He explained about this form. This is the first. Past. When? Maybe your childhood, maybe in your next life, the previous life, maybe thousands, millions of lives that we have experienced. All the forms. We have been born as devas. What happened to that deva body? Do we have that? No? No. What happened to that, the baby's body that we possessed? Completely gone. What happened to like everybody, you and me, everybody, we are getting old. What happened to that like young look, the beautiful appearance? That's slowly going away, right? Impermanence. So that here we are here to understand what will be the future. We get old, and what will be the form of ours we will have. Maybe in our next life, If you become a deva, you will possess a beautiful form, bright and brilliant. That is also subject to change. Past, future, present. Right now, the third, okay? This is the third. Internal. Oh, internal. Internal is here, me, and you. External, you are external to me, and I am external to you, right? External form, subject to change. So when we think about others too, or we like to have a physical body like they have, but they are subject to change too. Of course, like we have rough bodies, but the devas have fine bodies. Devas, the heavenly beings, right? Or like that. Inferior and superior. Maybe the spirits, or maybe kind of animals or something, they have inferior bodies, right? Superior, Brahmas, higher realms, they have superior bodies. Far, near, all form. Here you have 11. Past, future, present, internal, external, cause, fine, inferior, superior, far or near, all form. With right understanding, you understand this is not me, not mine, not myself. So when we see the pictures with our friends, you see this is me, this is mine. And the same thing about the feelings, same thing about the perception, same thing about the mental formation, same thing about the consciousness, okay? All right, when you understand this, what is it? Form is non-self, not me, not mine, not myself, right? This is just the basic thing the Buddha wanted you to understand. When you see this,
the noble disciple grows his illusion, form, feeling, mental formations, and consciousness.
all right, seeing this, the learned noble disciple grows disillusioned with disillusion. So you develop kind of a knowledge or wisdom about the form, about the feelings, about the perception, about mental formation and consciousness. Being disillusioned means like you minimize the attachment to these things. How? It is not like you let go of your body means like you do not take care of your body. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean understanding the nature and living your life with that knowledge and wisdom. This is what I am experiencing, subject to change. You're not attached and you're not worried actually. You're not worried. Like you do not disgust you, right? You don't reject your life. It's not. Developing your wisdom. It's just the spiritual peace you experience. This is I am. You're not attached. You do not worry when you get sick, when you become less and less attractive everywhere. When you are here about to say goodbye to things, not worried. Why not? This is not me, not mine, not myself. Answer is very clear. Not me, not mine, not myself. What is it? How does this happen? Reading this Dharma and understanding as the Buddha wanted you to understand. It's just the way you develop your wisdom. And we do not experience suffering. We do not cry. Here in this life, we experience a beautiful peace, happiness, and calm. This is just the beautiful way of letting go. Right? Understanding, developing this Dhamma. So how do we experience actually? So sometimes you might say that No, Bhante, we don't want to do this. We just want to enjoy this life. We just need to travel. We just go to parties and enjoy the friends and families. We need to have a good car. Of course, yes. But what is something you are learning? You are learning something different today. Oh, this is like a very boring thing or something? No. How do you understand this? When you understand the nature of everything, we understand the nature of suffering. And we minimize that suffering and we experience peace. Just letting go of the desire. This is all about the tanha, desire, attachment to these 5 things, attachment to this life. Okay? And when you do this, being disillusioned, being understanding, being wise, desire fades away. When you understand that everything is subject to change, you understand, you develop your wisdom, desire fades away. When you understand this is something suffering, the cause of suffering, you minimize the desire to that. Why? You don't want to experience suffering. When desire fades away, they're freed. You're freed, yes. When you're freed, they know they are freed. So, you're freed from what? You're freed from suffering. They understand birth is ended. Spiritual journey has been completed. What had to be done has been done. There is no return to any state of experience. What is that? Reaching the Nibbana. Nibbana. So this is the clear path to Nibbana. To Nibbana. How? Understanding the nature of this life is just the way to Nibbana. Nibbana is the complete destruction of suffering. Permanent happiness. Permanent happiness. Birth is ended means you don't have any rebirth. You're not subject. You're not supposed to be born. Journey is ended, completed. What had to be done has been done. You have no practice more to do. This is the end. There is no return to any state of experience. Huge thing in simple words. Only 5 things to understand here. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. The nature of all these things. When we understand the nature of all these 5 things, we are not here to cling to these 5 things. Why? This is the wisdom you have. This is knowledge you have. Because you don't want to experience suffering. Again, everybody, take this as a whole thing. Not like one thing and these 2, like, no, this whole thing. Think about your life that you have lived for about 30 years or something. What happened to that? It's in the past. Just the memory we have something. But the knowledge you have gained is something really precious to you. That you can understand this life, the nature of this life. This is not only to us happens. To all human beings, it's the same thing we experience. We experience, all of us experience the same thing. The shape could be a little change, different. Same thing we experience. We cry, we lament, and things. This is what the Buddha said. So satisfy the group of 5 mendicants approved what the Buddha said. While this discourse was being spoken, the minds of the group of 5 mendicants were freed from defilements by not grasping fully. They understand that Dhamma fully. They became enlightened. They became arahant. So what did you learn today? I like the way the Buddha question, right? What do you think? Is form permanent or impermanent? Impermanence. If it is impermanent, is it suffering or happiness? Suffering, sir. If it is impermanent, suffering and perishable, is it fit to be regarded as mine, me, mine, or myself? No, Tambante. Read the Dharma. When you do not understand what you read, don't worry about that. Okay, keep reading. That would be interesting when you understand a little bit of that Dharma. Oh, this is something that really eye-opening. First read and try to understand before putting that into practice. And make your mind pleasant towards the wisdom of the Buddha. Buddha had that amazing knowledge and wisdom. That leads you for the complete understanding. Okay? Alright? This is just the way to the permanent happiness, the Dhamma. As long as we have this journey of samsara, the suffering is tremendous. We are in the human world, we are really safe. But what about the hell beings? They don't even have a fraction of a second to be happy, to be stay away of depression, of fear, suffering. We also have experienced the same thing. Be happy about this opportunity and be grateful. This human life is very rare and very, very important and very valuable. If we use this knowledge and our eyes, our ears, our nose to see this Dhamma, to read this Dhamma, this is the best thing ever we have done in the entire journey of samsara. Read this Dhamma, okay? Okay, may this wonderful be very helpful to us to understand the noble truths and be free from all the sufferings in the samsara. So,